If you're logged into your MetaTrader and you're not exactly sure what these numbers mean in detail, how to place your first trade, or what is important to understand in the chart here, then this video is exactly right for you. Today, we want to go through the most important settings in MetaTrader 5, what you need to pay attention to in order to open a trade position, how to set your stop loss, and how to take your profit. And above all, how to create an account in MetaTrader as your very first step. And it doesn't matter at all whether you're trading Bitcoin, gold, or any indices. We're going to go through all of this in detail now. Right at the beginning of the video, feel free to scroll down and leave a like. And then I would say, let's get started with the explanation of MetaTrader so I can give you a quick overview of exactly what we'll be covering in this video. We'll start by briefly setting up MetaTrader properly. Then, as you can already see in the background here, I'll also explain how you can use our gold indicator to find trade entries, so you can get your MetaTrader off to a great start with your first trades. So first of all, what we need is the MetaTrader 5 app. That means you go to your app store and search for MetaTrader 5. You can see here I have already selected MetaTrader 5. I've already downloaded it. If you haven't done that yet, just click on download and then click on open here. Then this window will open up right away. We have the chart included, or rather, here we have our currency pairs and of course our open trades as well. The trades, and how we can place them in the network. And then, of course, here are your trades at the bottom, the history, and also the settings. We'll go into detail on that now. But first of all, what we need most importantly is an account. With MetaTrader, you can either create a demo account, or if you want to trade with real money, for example, to take advantage of our trade signals or to use our indicator trade positions, then of course, you'll first need an account. The best way to do this is to use the link down below. In our community, we use it for gold, or for example, if you want to trade Bitcoin on MetaTrader, that works as well. We use the broker 𝗕𝗪𝗧𝗧 where you can create either a live account or a demo account. Of course, I'll show you in detail how this works. You can also secure a 100% deposit bonus. This applies up to 1,000 euros. That means if you deposit 100 euros, you get 100 euros as a bonus on top. If you deposit 1,000 euros, you get 1,000 euros or USDT or Bitcoin or anything else you want to deposit, again on top as a bonus. Otherwise, just click on the link below and you'll be taken to the page redirected by 𝗕𝗪𝗧𝗧. There you simply enter where you live, meaning where you are registered. In this case, you will probably be living in Germany, so you just enter that. Germany, then your email address, your password, and for the referrer, just quickly enter our code as well. If you forgot the code, don't worry, you'll still get the bonus even without the code. Then we just click here on Open Live Account, or if you want to open a demo account, I'll show you in a moment how the whole thing works. If you already have an account, then just go to Login here. Here in the overview, you now have the option to either create a live account. That means you click on Open Live Account here and select which type of account you want to create. Of course, I recommend the MetaTrader 5 since we trade on the MetaTrader 5 account. Now we come to the different account types. We have a standard account, a Pro-Cent account, or a standard Islamic account. As a rule, we go with the standard account. If you have an account where you deposit less than 100 US dollars, I recommend using a cent account for this. If you deposit 100 US dollars, you will then have accordingly 10,000 cents. This means you can adjust your positions a bit differently because, as you will see later in MetaTrader, you can only adjust your position to a maximum of 0.01. Start with a lot. If you have a 100 euro account, you will quickly notice that 1 cent on a 100 euro account is definitely very much against your risk management. So I definitely recommend using a Pro-Cent account if you have less than 100 US dollars. Just click on submit and then the account is created. Next, you will receive your login details. And with these login details, we will now log into MetaTrader. But before that, I want to show you how you can also create a demo account. Because if you're testing a new strategy, and here on our Discord server, as well as on this YouTube channel, you'll find various strategy videos on gold trading, Bitcoin trading, and crypto trading in general. So it obviously makes sense to test the strategy on a demo account before trying it with a real money account, or, well, try it out on a demo account first before applying it. For example, you can get this indicator from us completely free of charge on Discord. It shows you exactly where you should go short, or for example, where you should look for buy signals. For instance, here it was about buy signals, and here on today's date, it was about sell signals, so you can find perfect entries for your trading. So back to 𝗕𝗪𝗧𝗧 for a moment. Here you can switch at the top to the demo account. You can open a demo account at the top here by clicking on the plus sign. Again, select MetaTrader 5 standard account. We want a US dollar account here as well. Then we can choose which leverage we want to select. For example, we'll choose a leverage of 300 for this account, and then you can select how much account balance your demo account should have, and then just click on submit here, and then your demo account will be created. Once you've created your account, you'll see a little gear icon here, and with this gear icon, you can make various settings such as changing your leverage. Here, I'd like to give you a tip. Work with the smallest possible leverage available. That's the 1 to 100 leverage. That's the 100 to 1 leverage. By default, it's set to 500. So please do yourself a favor, especially if you have a smaller account of under 100 US dollars or actually under 200 US dollars, set it. Please definitely lower the leverage to 100 to 1. You can always adjust the leverage again at any time. But believe me, even with small leverage, you can make good profits in gold trading. So pay attention to that small leverage. Change it right away so you don't take on unnecessary risk in your trades. Because there's nothing more frustrating than getting stopped out because the risk was maybe a bit too high, and then a single trade wipes out the solid trading performance you've built up over the past few days. To make perfect use of this live account for ourselves now, the very first thing we need to do is deposit money. That means we go to deposit funds here, or you can also click deposit up here. Then you select which account you want to fund. For example, here I currently have several accounts, but there actually isn't much on them at the moment. What I always do is at the end of the day when the session is over, because our session just ended today as well, I handle it then. I can also show you this in our Telegram group. We just finished our session a few minutes ago. We took some really nice trades. As you can see, we can scroll through them. Today, we definitely had some really awesome ones. We made some solid trading profits. In general, if you also want to get these trade signals, you'll find the link in the video description. Now I'm just going to quickly select the account where I want to deposit money. For me, that's the one ending in 99. It's really simple. You can use Apple Pay or, of course, a credit card. Otherwise, you can also deposit cryptocurrencies at any time, of course. That means you can deposit Solana, you can deposit XRP, and if you have USDT, you can deposit USDT as well, or even Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you actually have a lot of options to deposit and most importantly, withdraw money. I'll show you that at the end of the video as well. That means I'm going into my wallet here, selecting USDT, and I want to withdraw my USDT now. In the meantime, while we're waiting for the money to arrive, let's go into our MetaTrader now because we also need to connect our account. That means we go back into MetaTrader 5. To do this, we go to settings, then at the top to trade accounts. Of course, we want to add a trade account there. Here we tap the plus sign, select the broker where we have our account. For you, VT Markets won't be listed yet. That means you go to the search bar at the bottom, search for VT Markets, and then tap confirm. There you go. That's the very first thing we select. And then we have the option to enter one of our servers. Depending on which server you received in the email, you simply enter that one, of course. So for me, it's Live 6. Then I'll enter my login here, which means my account number and of course also my MT5 password. I've blacked it out a bit in the email here for you, just so you don't start trading up my account too quickly. Now turn on save password here and tap confirm. And as you can see, balance 20 US dollars. If we go to history, you can see the 20 US dollars that I just transferred over from my wallet have already arrived here or are arriving right now. You can now see the entire trade performance in the history. In this case, we've just opened the account, so there is nothing to see yet in terms of trade performance. But now we'll also open a trade together to show you how the whole thing works. Apart from that, we also have various other options. In the settings, of course, you still have the option to change some things. That means, for example, you can go down here into the chart and adjust various things. But I don't want to bore you now with unnecessary details or talk your ear off. I've set everything exactly to the default settings, so it's really not important for you to make any changes. If you want, you can change the colors for yourself. I've left everything on default. I don't make any major changes, I just leave it as it is. As I said, I can then see it here in the history. I'm now logged into a different account of mine. Also my trade history, for example, you can see here I took a few gold trades. Those were actually all the gold trades we got from our signal group. That means, as you can see here, back then I think I had 400 US dollars. Exactly, I deposited 400 US dollars back then. And then I made a few trades here. You can also set the time and choose to display, for example, only today's trades, or even a custom range. That means, for example, I might want to display only Monday to Tuesday or just Tuesday. I think I definitely traded on Monday. I'm pretty sure I traded on Monday on this account. Yes, you can see that here, for example. We made a few trades on Monday. For example, I didn't deposit anything that day on that Monday. That's why. We didn't have any deposits, but instead we just had the entire trade history. You can see it here, for example. On that day, we made a profit of $360 or almost $370. And then you can see all of that here in full. Just take a look. Of course, let's move over to the interesting section, namely the trade, chart, and also the currency bar areas. Here's a tip for you. You can click up here to make everything a bit tidier, or click on the pencil icon. If you want to remove various trading pairs here, I'm a fan of keeping everything relatively clean. I actually only trade gold on MetaTrader. That means, of course, I only look at the gold chart there. I've added gold here once. If you don't know what gold is, just type in 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 at the top. That's right, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 as well. And then you'll see here, gold standard has already been added. Then we can trade it as well. Of course, you can also trade Bitcoin if you want. That's called BTC. You can trade USD just as well here on MetaTrader. You can just click on it here, then you'll see an overview. And for example, you can go to the chart and you'll also see the Bitcoin chart here. But we want to focus on the gold chart here. That means we'll go to the chart here. And then you can see here that we have the gold chart here. At the top, the time frame ranges from the 1-minute chart up to the 4-hour chart respectively. You can definitely change various things here as well. Can we also open different positions there or close them for that matter? Of course, I'll show you now how that works. For that, you have various options, either to do it all at the top here via market or limit order. So as you can see, I just clicked on this clock and now I can simply move my limit order. I have a buy limit, or if I'm above the price, a sell limit. That means, for example, I want to place a buy limit order now if gold comes back down to $5,070. I can also select my stop loss below. So you see, with just a few clicks, you can simply take the stop loss and move it back and forth. That means, as you can see here, I can move the stop loss exactly where I want it. I can do the same with my take profit. And as you can see exactly how much money you would earn with your current account calculated for you right away. That means if the trade works out, how much profit you would make. So you can calculate exactly what your risk is, or rather how much you are risking. Here I would now be risking $10 in order to possibly make $40. If you now click on this arrow to the right, the next section will open up. And here you can select the lot size again. You can also choose how much you want to set. 0.01 is actually what I would always recommend to you. I wouldn't go in with a larger lot size unless you have a bigger account. Then you can also go in with 0.02 or even with 0.05. But as I said, it depends on your account. My tip remains the same, 0.01. As mentioned, you then have the option here to adjust the lot size for yourself as needed. There you go, just click place buy limit here, and then you see the buy limit order is placed. It's now in the market. If we now go over to trades, you can see the buy limit has been set. Of course, I can also edit it at any time, meaning I can adjust my stop loss here again. Or of course, I can also confirm the order here again, or also delete it. For example, if you want to delete it, that means you can remove your order from the market at any time. If we want to enter a trade position now, we can of course do that very simply as well. Either, as I said, via the limit order, or we can also enter using the market order. Market order is the other box up here. Here you can also select your lot size again, 0.01, 0.02, 0.01. You can choose it however you like. For example, I want to enter a sell position here. That means, for example, I go here now. I can also change the time frame here again. Want to enter a sell position now, click on sell up here, and then I just have to quickly accept it. Important, you only have to accept this one-click trading once. After that, everything is set and you can enter at any time with buy and sell whenever you want. So accept it once, place the sell order into the market, for example, by clicking on sell here, and then my order is in the market. Now I have the option to modify this order. On the one hand, I can set my stop loss here, enter the SL, for example, I want to risk €7 in this case, and then, for example, set my take profit at €18, here, for example, downwards, and then I would click on modify again. And then I have placed the position into the market. This position will then automatically appear here with us in the trade section. You can then see how much profit or loss I am making. And of course, I can edit this order at any time. That means I can add a stop loss or of course close this order as needed. I can click here and, for example, close the position. This is just a demo, for example. Actually, it's not a demo, it was real money. Or rather, I can now manage or close my position here as well. Either I would close out here now at a loss, or of course, if I'm in with a larger lot size, I could also take partial profits or partial gains. For example, I'll just close here now, either with a slight loss or a small profit. I think we broke even when we exited. The first one hit the stop loss, but that's not a big deal. This is just an account where I want to show you how it works. So here we ended up more or less at break even. That means, as you can see, it's super simple, super easy to open positions here as well, or to close them. Now, I also want to show you how you can open multiple positions at the same time. That means, for example, you can click on buy once here or click on buy a second time as well. I'm in a ProCent account here. So for me, it's also not a big deal if the positions end up in the negative later. Of course, you can see here that if they run into profit, you can also take the profits out. So you can also say at any time, I want to open new positions. But for now, I mainly want to show how partial profits work exactly. For that, I'll enter with zero point 0.1 lot, click on buy again here, and now I can see, for example, that we have several positions open. Now I can close the position as usual by clicking here and simply closing the entire position. For example, here now $5 in profit. Or for example, I can also take partial profits here or also take partial profits. I can do this with sell positions as well. That means I can also open new buy or new sell positions here again, depending on how I feel like it. Here, for example, if we open another buy position, we can of course see that when the position is in profit. Let's wait a little bit. So as you can see, our trade positions are doing well and moving into profit. And now we can of course also take profits or close partial profits. Option number one, you can slide over here and then either close the position, meaning you can close it completely here. Or of course, you can also take partial profits. That means you use the minus and plus buttons to move up or down a bit to take partial profits. Or you can use the number pad here and, for example, choose to take out 0.05. That means closing exactly 50% of this position. If you want to exit here, or you can also set a stop loss here, for example. If you want to exit here, boom, it now closes 50% of the position. The other percentages remain open for now. And you can see here we have 50% there. That's 0.05. Taken out from 0.1, which means exactly 50% has been realized and goes back here again. You can also do this at any time, right? Here through Zoom, you can also move the stop loss closer, right? That means you can move the stop loss here, for example, set it to the entry price. And the nice thing is you can see right away how much USDT you win, or rather, how much you're risking when you adjust this stop loss. That means it opens automatically. And of course, you can do the same thing with the take profit. Here, just drag it to the TP, or for example, drag it all the way to the top if you want to see it there. I want to set the take profit there. So I go to modify, confirm everything, or of course do the same thing with the TP here. At the top, we set our TP. Let's put it in here as well. Bam, adjust it. And you can do this not only in the chart, not just by dragging it back and forth with your fingers, but you can also go into the position, click on edit, and of course set the take profit here as well, or set the stop loss. So as you can see, it's super simple and easy to take this trade position with you or to adjust it again later. Option number two, also how you can close positions. You can go up here to these three dots. And then, for example, you can close all positions that are in loss, close all positions that are in profit, or even close all positions entirely to completely close the trading account. That means now I go here, close all profits. Bam, all profits are taken out. Now I go into my history here. And for example, I can see here that it apparently closed all of them. Those were the ones that were just in the negative. But that's no problem. The profit is still displayed. That means you now have a complete overview here. For example, here you see a red icon. That means it hit the stop loss. If a profit was made or a take profit was hit, that's shown with a green icon. But here you have the complete overview of all the orders, or rather of the positions. At the very top, of course, you can also see the order where you can check how many orders you opened. You can see how they were filled or whether they were executed. But in my opinion, that's not all that interesting. The more important area is actually these positions here, or rather the trade overview, where you can open a new position directly in the chart, or of course also here via the overview. Here in the gold section, for example, we go to the plus sign where you can open new positions. Personally, I'm a fan of doing all this directly through the chart. That means I always go here to this clock icon and set my various limit and market orders in the market. That's why you get from us. Also in the trade signals, you always get these market orders or this information to enter a position. Often, as I said, limit orders. Of course, you can also enter with a market order. You can then say here, hey, I'll set a buy limit. There you go. You see, then the buy limit is set right there. If the chart now drops down a bit, you can also zoom in here as much as you like, depending on your preference. The position will then be executed accordingly and will either move toward the take profit or the stop loss. So it's super simple, super easy how the whole thing works here. You can theoretically also do chart analysis, add indicators. That means you can also say here, hey, I want to add the EMA, just like we do in our own analysis with the 19 and 50 EMA. Of course, you can also add the indicators here. Personally, I always do my analysis on my laptop, or rather, on my desktop, and then I open my position here in the MetaTrader app on my phone so that I've already done proper chart analysis beforehand on my laptop. The last point I want to show you is how you can, of course, also benefit from our trade signals that we share here in the Telegram group. If you don't yet have access to our Telegram group, as mentioned, the link is down below in the video description. And as you can see, we've posted various trade signals here in the last few hours. I actually always open the session right away as well. Then, when I announce it, when I sit down at the laptop, so that you, no matter where you are right now, whether you're at work, at university, or somewhere else, always know exactly, okay, when new positions are coming. I always mark it right away as a new position where I then take a look at the market. That means I take a close look at where the market is heading. I do all of this in my analysis on the one hand with the gold indicator, which you already know, and of course also with support and resistance. I really like to work with support and resistance when it comes to gold because gold often bounces back into a support area and then makes an explosive move upwards. And of course, I try to take advantage of this movement as best as possible. For this, I always define an entry zone. You can see the entry zone is marked. We have a stop loss and we have 3 to 4 take profits, 1 out of 4 take profits. The fourth take profit simply means we hold the trade a bit longer in case it even shoots past TP3. Let's assume we take the gold signal number 2 now. We have a gold buy zone. We started at 5,145 to 5,140. US dollars is the final target area. How can you use this position for yourself now? To do this, you go back here into MetaTrader, click on the plus at the top, or go into the chart, and then of course you can open positions for yourself. And that means we go up here to the plus, then select the risk, either with a market order or, for example, with a buy limit order. If we want to place a buy limit order, we set it exactly at the price we just mentioned, 5,145 or 5,140, and would place a buy order. Then we also add the take profit and the stop loss. Stop loss is always 50 pips. Let's also add the stop loss there, move it over as well to 5,100. 100, where did we set the stop loss? 100. We have our stop loss at 35, and then we briefly have our take profit. For take profit, we have 51.60, the first one. Wait, not 51.60, that is TP3. 51.50 is then the first take profit. That means we can place this position in the market. If you have an account with less than 100 or less than 200 US dollars, I always recommend trading with 0.01 lots. Ideally, you even have a % account where you can take on a bit more risk, and then you simply take TP2 as one position. If you have more than 500 US dollars in your account, then you can also take multiple partial positions or also play around a bit with the lot size. But here the most important thing is obviously risk management, and it's not about having to take all the TP3s. For example, I often do it so that I just take TP2, exit at TP2, and I'm happy with my profit. So, especially when scalping, don't get greedy here. These are trade positions that are often sent in. You can see here there really are signals coming in daily. Between 5 and 7 positions are sent in. That means even if you happen to miss a position, don't worry. There will always be a new entry opportunity. And it's better to wait for the right entry so you can get it rather than entering a trade position too late. Active trade management is also important now. That means I always post when I move my stop loss. Hold set BE means setting the stop loss at the entry price. And then please do me a favor and do your risk a favor as well every time you read that. Please also set the stop loss at the entry price. And I've already explained to you how the whole thing works. You can simply change that again later in the position, meaning you go back into the position, edit it with this pencil icon, or also use this slider. Of course, you can also change it again at any time. Or of course, you can also close the position. For example, if TP1 is reached or TP2 is reached, then of course you should also take your profits out of the trade. Extremely important. Risk management is absolutely crucial here. Always use a stop loss. Always. If the stop loss should be set to break even, then do exactly that. That means please move your stop loss accordingly, because if you take this trade position exactly as I posted here, then you will also achieve the same results. If you ever start thinking, I don't need a stop loss for this trade, and that's exactly the trade that goes wrong, then that's anything but good for your account. That's why you really need to pay attention to this. Try to take as many trades as possible. I know not everyone sits at the computer all day and can take every single trade position every day, and that's completely fine. That's why we have our own trading strategy, which you can also learn here with us on Discord. That means we have a trading view indicator, and we have a complete trading bootcamp where you can learn everything about trading from scratch. That means from A to Z. You'll be perfectly guided so that you know exactly how to achieve your next results with gold, not just with this signal group, but also with your own trades. That's basically all there is to say about the topic of MetaTrader. So as you can see, it's actually super easy to understand. You also have the option to transfer money between accounts at VT Markets, of course. That means you can click on transfer accounts here, and then you can easily move money back and forth. Or you can simply go to distro funds, of course. Then you can close the position or withdraw your capital again as usual. As you can see, it's super simple, really, how MetaTrader is set up. If you have any questions, feel free to join our Discord channel. We have a gold chat there where we actually answer every question about trading. So no matter what the question is, there are no stupid questions, there are no silly questions, there are no bad questions. Feel free to ask any questions you want to know. If you have any questions, as I said, join the Discord channel. There you'll actually find all the important information. Feel free to join our gold signal group as well. You can also find access in the Discord channel. Then you'll also have the opportunity to participate in these gold trades that we took today throughout the day. One important thing I want to inform you about regarding gold is only traded from Monday to Friday. That means gold is not traded during the weekend, so you can't trade gold at that time. That means we also focus very, very much on the London session here on the channel. The London session always takes place in the morning. That means that's usually when I trade between 9 and 2 or 3 p.m. Basically, before the stock market opens, you can, of course, use our indicator here as well to look for perfect entries. For example, you can see here, there was a really nice short entry at just under $5,090 that you could have taken advantage of. That means here. With this indicator, you are definitely optimally equipped to perfectly set up your gold trading strategy. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and also feel free to check out this video here where I explain our gold indicator to you in detail. Be sure to claim the 100% bonus at VT Markets as well. You'll find the link in the video description. Then I'd say we'll see each other either in the next live training session or in the Discord gold chat.